What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Keeping It Real podcast, where every week we talk all things movies and TV. I'm your host, James. I'm joined by Jack and Calvin today to talk about Pablo Larrain's Spencer, starring Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana. During her Christmas holidays with the royal family at the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, England, Diana Spencer, struggling with mental health problems, decides to end her decade-long marriage to Prince Charles. Jack, I'll come to you first. We won't do spoiler-free, because this is real life. So let's just talk about Spencer.
We know what happens.
We know what happened. All right.
Assassinated. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I don't think I really watched the trailer. I just saw a few clips of Kristen Stewart's performance and just decided that I wanted to watch it. I thought it was going to be more like typical biopic, like you see her whole, probably her whole life over the course of 2 hours or whatever. But this was much more like trying to think of like the word ethereal. Was that the word to use? No, I don't know.
Or something.
I don't know if that's the word to use, but so obviously of course the 3 days in it, which I didn't know. I thought it was going to be all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
And her performance is mad. Like she's so good at
insane.
it. She's so fucking good at it. And I did struggle. The only things, I don't really have a lot of negatives to say about it. I'd like, obviously with these types of films, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt, because obviously it's set for those 3 days in the palace. How could anyone who wasn't there possibly?
Well, yeah,
know
you're not going into
dialogue.
this for a history lesson, are you? You're going in for a story. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to know how much of it, I'd like to know how much of what happened was true.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I'll never get. I don't really mind that.
You can Google, to be fair. Google what happened.
Yeah, but you don't know how much truth you're going to get out of it, is it?
No.
The woman's not here to speak to you.
No, she is not.
Doubt she would speak to you anyway.
Filth.
Yeah.
Would you land an interview?
I don't know. I reckon. Well, she seemed like she'd be a good laugh. So I reckon reach out, get our people to speak to her people. Yeah. Our people being us.
I was going to say, do we have people?
No, we are. We're our own people.
we are our people.
Yeah, we'll reach out on the Keeping It Real Twitter. I'm sure she'd have Twitter probably.
Glasses of disguise.
Yeah. I like for like most of the film, realistically, she's just on her own, and it really like puts you into like her mindset. Like you don't see the Queen or anyone else for fucking ages in this movie, mm-hmm. until that like one dinner scene, and then you don't really see a lot of them. Then like the person you see the most is Timothy Spall.
Timothy Spall,
yeah, be a bit jarring for Rafe Spall, wasn't it? The only negative that I had, which I know you guys liked, but it just kind of took me out of it a bit, is the whole Anne Boleyn stuff. Like, I don't mind the discussing of it and like the symbolism of it, but like actually seeing like the ghost of Anne Boleyn kind of took me out of it a bit.
You weren't there for the metaphors. You weren't there for all.
I feel like I could get the metaphors without having to see her there.
I think it's just that she's like haunted by this feeling that she is going to be taken out by this family to make way for someone else, and she's haunted by that thought, and it's really getting to her.
Yeah, I also think it sort of plays into the whole film sort of like lyrical fantasy aspect, which I think what Pablo Larrain was sort of trying to construct here. Like, obviously he is a filmmaker who the way he directs his films isn't to be put out as the objective truth. You know, he tries to tell like quite a character-driven story, which is, you know, you still got to think as an audience member that you're still watching characters on a screen.
Yeah.
Which I think Pablo Larrain does really well. I mean, he did it really well in Jackie, which he also obviously focuses on a short period of time.
I think all the best biopics do. I can't stand a cradle to grave.
I really dislike the ones that go over a lot of time.
Because
Some of them yeah, you can't
moments
really
are just sparse and
you can't really focus, and some probably do it quite well, but I also think a lot of those ones lead you to believe that you're watching the objective truth, which you never are with cinema, because it's always something that you're watching on screen.
I think it's much smarter to just take just a section of someone's life and try and feed into that story. A lot about the character. I think it's much smarter than spreading it over years.
But even though that he sort of structured this in an almost like fantasy, like a very fantastical way, like there was a lot of things going on in terms of the house, the big manor house they were staying in was essentially like, from her point of view, it was essentially like a prison, and I just felt everything around it with the mist and everything just looked like almost a haunted house. I just loved all of
fantastic.
That stuff. But even despite all that, the subject matter that they cover is obviously very serious, but it never feels disrespectful in any way.
No, I don't think I've ever seen a biopic that has such compassion for its subject. And you can feel it. They're telling this story about Diana, and they she is unfortunately no longer here, but they really care about shining her in the right light.
I think they really were able to do that by sort of diving into the things that she was known for, as being like a loving mother and the people's princess, which is further explored through her being the only one in the royal family who has any relationships with the sort of downstairs staff, like royal staff. I thought her relationship with Sean Harris, for some reason, that relationship really resonated with me. I thought Sean Harris was such a great character in this, such a sympathetic character. But Sean Harris is always great in whatever he says. He just has such a weight to the way he says things.
And a much more simple performance than what we're used to seeing from Sean Harris, but it worked. It really worked.
I also loved the way the film ended, not with on a note of tragedy, which obviously her life ended that way. But I loved that it ended with her and her son sort of driving off into the sunset.
I adored that because it got to that point where we're giving her this nice, sweet ending that she deserves. And I was like, I hope we don't cut from this to
a Michael Bay style,
a Michael Bay style car crash. So I'm really happy with the way they decided to end the story.
It also made way for the worst part of the film, when that little prick gets an orange juice at a KFC. I was absolutely livid.
You really took that to heart.
It really pissed me off.
I raised that issue as well. I was like, only Prince William would get a orange juice at a KFC.
Yeah, she was like 2 Cokes and an orange juice, and I literally mouthed under my mask. I was like, what?
I also thought those the 2 boys who played the princes were great. They had such a
very well cast,
with Kristen Stewart. Yeah, I still can't believe it's Kristen Stewart. I mean, there's rare performances where you forget that you're watching a certain actor in a certain role.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen often for me. But
I think similarly,
I keep reminding myself that
with Natalie Portman in Jackie, it just completely fades into this role. I didn't see them anymore.
She still very much looks like Natalie Portman to me.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. But I'm not seeing Natalie Portman when I watch Jackie.
But this wasn't one of those transformations where they're in prosthetics or makeup you get with Gary Oldman in Darkest Hour or something. It wasn't that sort of transformation. I feel like she embodied sort of all the little mannerisms of Princess Diana, which then transformed her, which I feel like is a much greater feat than simply putting on some prosthetics or makeup, heavy makeup.
Yeah, I agree. With even just the most subtle of looks, I feel like you were really inside Diana's mind, and we knew what she was feeling in those exact moments. I think the way she plays Diana I think it's my favorite performance of the year. so far. I thought it was terrific. The way you can see how rejected and suffocated she feels by this family that she's a part of. And I think what really impressed me was the way she used her voice. It was almost as if she was quite breathless, and she was coming up for air when she talked, and that was what just constantly just blew me away throughout the film.
Yeah, when we went to see Dune, after we watched that, I was like, wow, that is one cinematography hands down when it comes to award season and so on.
It's got a contender.
But then I watched this and I was like, oh, maybe Dune is going to struggle on that a bit.
I think because Dune
it's so strange because
so they do different things with the cinematography. Like Dune's all about transporting you to another world, and it does that flawlessly. But I think with Spencer, there's so much storytelling in the cinematography, and the way they use the camera is very smart.
I love the there's sort of like a soft focus over everything as well.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. I'll be surprised if it isn't nominated. I mean, I'm speaking of nominations, Kristen Stewart, I think she's got a nomination in the bag for sure.
Pablo Larrain as well, I think, deserves a nomination for Best Director because he sort of was. I can't remember. I don't think he was nominated for Jackie.
I don't think he was.
I will. Hopefully, it pushes people to actually watch his non-English speaking films because I've always loved him as a director. I think I've seen mostly everything he's done.
Yeah,
he's such a great film director.
This did impress me to the point where I am curious about visiting his earlier work. Do we have anything else to say about Jackie?
Spencer, mate.
Spencer, sorry, we've talked about Jackie so much, and it's open on my phone as well. Spencer, do we have anything more to say about Spencer?
Favorite film of the year? You can't even get it right.
My favorite film of the year, Jackie.
Yeah, wrong bloody woman.
Jackie wasn't even close to one of my favorite films of 2016, but there you go. Right, do we want to rate this? Jack?
No.
Jack, being serious now. Out of 5.
It's beyond a rating.
You always
6 stars.
Yeah, you always ask us, but you never take into what we say into consideration. I'm gonna go for 4 stars. I reckon
4.
Bloody
good score, Calvin.
Okay.
Oh, do you want final notes on your score?
No.
4.5.
4.5 for me.
All right, guys. So you've both had your 5s so far this year, and I finally got it. I finally found my first 5 of 2021.
I'd like to rescind my 5. I feel like it's better suited to a 4.5.
No, you can't.
What for Green Knight?
Yeah.
Right. So guys, if you go back and watch our Green Knight review.
It's 4.5.
When
don't let myself
his 5
at the end of the video.
He's lying. It's all been a prank. It's all been a big practical joke. It's actually a 4.5.
Well, this. We can't stop doing this.
Jack, these ratings are arbitrary. We can do whatever we want.
I'm rescinding my half a star review for Thunder Force. 4 stars.
I was literally
reviewed that movie.
I was literally scrolling my phone to see what that movie was called so I could make the same joke. I couldn't.
You gotta be quick on it, mate.
I couldn't remember what it was called. Right, I'll go back to that pile of shit I gave 1 star.
I love it when we're on the same page. Right, guys, that's it for our review of Spencer. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what you thought of the movie in the comments below. If you're listening audio only, then make sure to tell us your thoughts on the film on Twitter at Keeping It Real UK. From there, you can find links to all of our pages. Make sure you subscribe because we've got a few reviews coming out this week, so look out for them. Have a great week and keep it real.